Hi guys, this is Sardia. Welcome back to my channel. Have you subscribed yet? What about your friends? Go ahead and tell them to subscribe. Tell them to come over. We have some great content we're sharing with them. All right, happy 2025. It's been some time since we last spoke, and I'm on YouTube. It's 2025. What a blessing. For those, many people didn't cross over to 2025. And for those of us who are here in 2025, we have to give the Almighty all the praise and all the thanks and all the glory. You know, I was in Target, I think a couple of days before Christmas, and I was online, and there was a woman. She was an elder, and she had some gift cards. And she said, I told my son that this is the last Christmas I'm doing this. I can't do this. It's like 7 kids. It's too much for me. It's time for me to retire, etc. And I said, yes, all these holidays, they're just money making machine era and time and whatnot. And she says, yes. And she said, I'm just coming from the cemetery. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. She said her fiance died, and this woman was in her 60s. And she said, we were engaged for a year and we were getting married very soon, and he just passed on. And, I don't even know what to do. I feel so lost. And I said, well, you have life. And so once you have life, there is hope. And she said to me, she said, my dear, I was at the cemetery and there were hardly anyone there. And I said, there were millions of people at the cemetery. They just weren't alive. And she said, wow, when you put it like that. And we started talking, and I said, you see, even for those who lost their loved ones during this time or this season, they're so preoccupied with the holiday shopping and the things of the world that those loved ones are not on the peripheral. They're not on the forefront of their minds at this moment. And she said, yeah, and it is so sad. And I said, that's what these worldly things and these secular things, that's what they do to us. They get us all in a whirlwind, and we're so caught up that we lose sight of what's important. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, so Sardia, what are some of your New Year resolutions? And then I said, you know what, I don't have particular resolutions, because I was reading this article that talks about, people set New Year's resolutions, and by the first Friday of the following month, which would be February, those resolutions are null and void. They're not even existing anymore. People forget about them. They already violated whatever it is that they purported that they wanted to follow. And I think for me, if I were to create one, the 3 things that I want to focus for 2025, and I would employ you to do the same, is a spiritual renewing and reconnection. That's very important. You see, I think about the global landscape, and I think about the rapidly changing world and all the unpredictable things that are ahead of us that we're unaware of, on various social media, or even talking to people, you hear all these different prophecies of God revealing things to people in terms of what's to come. And none of us are omnipotent, and we don't know, right? But God still have chosen people that he speaks to. And so sometimes we just have to listen. And there is a level of uncertainty that every time we get into a new year that looms, that is real for us. And so we have to stay prayed up and grounded in God. I think about, for me, I want to increase my isolation. And what do I mean by that? I don't want to exclude or seclude myself from people, but I want to isolate myself in a way that I focus on the word. I focus on God. I focus on my purpose. God, what is it that you want me to do for 2025? How are you going to use me in benefit of other people? And how are you going to use me to elevate my own life? And thirdly, I think it's a time for a reset in prioritizing faith. A lot of us, especially when I talk to friends, and some of them, they just don't have faith. And faith is something that is very, very important. It's the hope for the things that are unseen. And so for me, for 2025, I want to reset. I want to anchor myself in God. I want to anchor myself in my faith and my spirituality, not so much about religion, but my connection with God. I want to anchor myself in that. I want to focus on that. I want to make that my priority for my family, where I'm staying prayed up, and I'm moving ahead with God on my side. I'm moving ahead knowing that it doesn't matter what comes. It doesn't matter any of the predictions that come or if they don't come, right? That I'm with God and God is with me. So these are the things that I'm focusing on for 2025. And, as always, with a new year, it's time for us to be introspective about life. What are some things that we did that didn't work out for us? What are some things that we engaged in that weren't the most efficacious things to engage in? What are some friendships that we can let go, we can move past, right? And we just stay focused on elevating ourselves. So I think for me, it's that spiritual awakening, that spiritual renewal, that spiritual connection, because I'm telling you, folks, we are living in a time that is not only dangerous, but again, it's unpredictable. And so without God, without God, we are lost. And so I don't want to be lost. I want to be focused on Him. And so I am going to make sure that I anchor myself in the Word for 2025. Listen, if you like this video, go ahead, give us a like, share it, subscribe, and tell your friends to join us. Take care. Bye.